Hello, folks. I am back with a firearms product review. But before I get to that, I would just like to mention that uh, I really love the firearms community because the firearms community, when you do your videos or whatnot, they respond to you, and also that they basically will help you in certain situations. So that's why I like the firearms community. And regarding this firearm here, which I affectionately call Frankensauer, um, when I did the first review on this, I had mentioned that I could not figure out how to get the uh, the weight that's in the back. There's the weight that sits in the back of here, and then you have your magwell. Well, I removed the magwell and put it onto here, but I could not figure out how to get uh, the weight that's inside here. And a guy by the name of Joseph Bowden, he contacted me and responded and said he gave me instructions, and it took no more than 5 minutes. He basically, just in case you guys run into that, this is where the weight is, the weight for your X5 on the, I believe, the standard X5s. So there is a weight that's in the length from here that goes all the way down to the bottom of the magwell, just about. I'm not sure if you can see that really well, but there is a weight that's in here. And I could not figure out how to get this out. And Joseph Bowden contacted me and said, "Hey, look, all you have to do is take needle nose pliers like this and just grab in and pull it out." And that's what I did. I was able to pull that out. It took no more than like 5 minutes at the most to put that weight that was in there inside here. By the way, this firearm is clear, and you cannot see it in here. I'm not going to break this down, but the weight, well, you can probably see that the weight I removed, and it's right here. If you could see that really well. Let me see if you could see it a little better with a little more light. And that's it. That's the weight that's in here. Now, the reason why it's kind of important to me is because uh, basically it helps the balance of the firearm when you're firing at the range. And I did notice a very big difference than when I fired it without the weight and with the weight in, and it's to help me with tracking. So I just wanted to give that props out to Joseph Bowden, and thank you very much for that. Okay, with that said, I'm continuing on, and this is the last piece I'm going to put on this firearm. It's the Romeo One Pro, and this was supposed to be the hot ticket item. I don't know how many people were expecting it, but Sig Sauer was making a big deal about this particular optic. Let me give you some specs on it. It's going to be 1 by 5 millimeter with a 6 MOA dot. I chose to get the 6 millimeter dot because it was a backup on the 3 MOA dot. I meant to say 6 MOA, but the 3 MOAs were not available. So I said, let me try the 6 MOA red dot. So that's what I did. So I went with the 6 MOA, and it's supposed to be a high efficiency, extended life optic for this firearm. So the battery life is supposed to have a longer run time. One of the main features of this, it has something what they call true lockless zeroing system. Those are not my words. That's the words from Sig Sauer. The true hold lockless zeroing system. What that means is basically when you're firing under recoil, and a lot of time on my earlier Romeo 1, I have one of my Romeo 1s on one of my other firearms. If you fire, the dot would move out of its hold position. Then you have to reset the dot again, which is not a very good feature to deal with when especially you're shooting and then you lose zero, and then next thing you know you're shooting off target. So that was a problem that was with some of the Romeo ones. I have a Romeo one where it works fine, and I have a one that where it doesn't work that well. So that's what they did. They have this a new type of system in here, so it will return to zero, especially under massive recoil. Uh, One of the other features uh, is it has the MOTAC a system. The MOTAC system is the motion activated illumination system. That's one of my favorite systems about this. So when you're at the range, you're firing, boom, 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 and then maybe you want to pick up something or load magazines. What will happen is the firearm will sit. After it sits for roughly about 2 minutes, it will shut itself off automatically. The moment that you touch this the firearm and lift it so it will move uh, out of its position, it the red dot will turn back on and it will hold zero. So that's one of the features I really like about this firearm is that's basically that you could just lay it down. Maybe you want to shoot another. Like what I do is sometimes I will shoot with this firearm, and then I will pick up my AR and shoot, and then pick it up again, and then I don't have to worry about whether the battery's going to die or whether I have to turn it back on or anything of that nature. So that's one of the reasons why I like the Romeo One red dots, but this one in particular is the Romeo One Pro. One of the other things that I like about this has a upgrade. The upgrade is I don't know if you could tell or not, but this has what you called a CNC aluminum housing on the top uh, right here. This is to protect it from if you were to drop it or anything of that nature, so to make it a little more rugged. And if you watch any of Aaron Cowan from Sage Dynamics' video, he had one of the Romeo ones. He loved it, and then all of a sudden, when he dropped it from shoulder height, it cracked or broke or whatever the case may be. But this shroud is supposed to protect that from situations like that. And I would like to see Aaron Cowan, hit a fence post or drop this from shoulder height. And I would like to see how this will work in his torture test. I do not torture test any of my products that I buy, so you'll have to refer to somebody that does. But that's what this is for. It's supposed to protect this whole optic. And the way you install this is it's a little different from one of the other Romeo 1 optics on the X5. On the X5, you have to take the slide mechanisms apart and go up underneath. Well, this one, you don't have to do that. This is, especially, well, on this particular slide anyway. This particular slide is made that you could put an optic on top and then just put your screws in from the top. With this protective shroud or whatnot, it serves as a plate, and then all you have to do is slide the optic through, and as you see, it gives enough space where the buttons are for to turn it on, turn it off, and to make it go up from brightness to brighter or dimmer. So that's what that does. It this sticks out just enough, so it will give enough space to protect these buttons. But it gives you enough space so you can put your fingers in to activate the switches on here. One thing about this is, which is different from the other uh, the Romeo one, is these are now tactile. You can press the button for dimness to go up or dimness to go down, and you'll hear it click. And I'm going to try to demonstrate that in a minute. But I just want to mention this is also top load as well. Let me see if I can demonstrate it so you can hear whether or not there's the dot that's on. And I'm going to try to dim it for you and let you hear how tactile it is. I don't know if you can hear that well, but as you see, it went from brighter to darker, and that's what it does. It's a tactile click, unlike unlike its predecessor. Okay, let me just cut this off. Okay, and that was one of the things I noticed right away as soon as I used when I started making my adjustments. And I'm trying to adjust the camera, and it's not cooperating with me. This is also waterproof for at least for immersion under 1 meters, and it's also supposed to be fog proof. What I also want to show you is what comes in the box. Uh, Not too much of a big deal. As you saw, this was the cover. Uh, it does come with, of course, this instruction manual. Um, and there's a couple other goodies in here. Of course, they give you a cloth. I think I removed the cloth. It does give you a tool in here. Let me see if I can get that. There we go. It gives you a little tool in here for mounting purposes. This is the plate that was on the slide. So I just keep it in storage here. And these are the screws from the uh, original plate. They do give you other screws that are much larger. I suggest you use those. But here's something that's pretty interesting. It's not a big deal to some people, but what's interesting is this little thing here. It's a keychain, and what you do is you can use it's kind of like a mini tool keychain. So you can use this to open up your battery cover on this side. You can also store a spare battery in here, and this little tab right here, you can use that to make adjustment clicks for your windage and also for your elevation. And it's a little neat little tool because a lot of times when I go to the range, I carry a bunch of stuff with me, screwdrivers and whatnot, just in case. So I'm going to tell you from what I've experienced with using this optic. The optic is very good. Like I said, with the weight that's in here, everything tracks very well, and I didn't lose zero at all. It pretty much comes right back on target for me, and I really have no complaints about it. Let me show you my first shots. My first shots, this is at 10 yards. My first shots were uh, down low and toward the left. I can also say I have a habit of probably sometimes shooting to the left, but I still made some adjustments. And right here, as you see, I'm still a little bit over to the left, and then I was a little bit low, and then I moved it over. I was satisfied with pretty much the elevation getting over this. I don't have the other target, but the other target was spot on. I was right in this ring here, maybe a few out here, but that's where I wanted to be. Um, Other than that, I'm going to say that this is a really good optic. My only thing that I don't have information on is what else would this optic fit on, whether or not it would be able to be put on a Glock. I actually seen the earlier model Delta Pros on a Glock before, but I'm not sure, so I can't really quote anything about it. But I'll probably call up SIG tomorrow and find out, can I put this on, let's say, a Glock, or put it, let's say, on my FN 509 or something like that. So I will find out from them what other firearm it can be put on. I do believe, but don't quote me on this, it follows the Delta Point Pro's footprint. I'm not totally sure, so I'm going to have to find that out from SIG as well. Other than that, I really like the way this optic works. Like I said, my main feature is the Motac on feature, and that's pretty much all I have to say. Other than that, folks, happy shooting, stay safe, hashtag 2A.